Hello YouTube, it's your boy B3, back with another kicking comic book review. Remember I said I'd be doing some more Elseworldy DC stuff, and now we're going to do another volume of Earth 2. It has been forever since I reviewed any of Earth 2, and I'm actually a pretty big fan of it. I think it was a very underrated series. It was such a big change for Earth 2 and for the Justice Society that I think a lot of people didn't give it a chance, but those who did seem to really like it. So today we are reviewing Earth 2, Volume 5, The Kryptonian by Elseworld King Tom Taylor, Nicholas Scott, Trevor Scott, and Pete Pantazis. God, this is great stuff. This is another series where I have all of the volumes physically and also all of the volumes digitally for on the go. So, let's read the back of the book real quick for you. On the parallel world of Earth 2, this is the New 52, Earth 2, by the way, a young team of heroes rose to become Earth's greatest defenders, filling the void left when Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman sacrificed themselves to save the planet. But now, after 5 years presumed dead, Superman has returned as a servant of Darkseid. Only one person on Earth has the power to stop the Man of Steel, the lost son of Krypton, val-zod. Witness world-changing war and the birth of a brand new Superman as writer Tom Taylor and artist Nicholas Scott bring you Earth 2 Volume 5, The Kryptonian, collecting Earth 2 number 21 through 26 and Earth 2 Future's End number 1. Yeah. First off, val-zod is a super interesting and cool Superman. He's made some appearances in DC recently, like some little multiversity appearances. And that's made a lot of people happy, because he's a really cool Superman with a really cool suit and a very interesting personality, which we're going to talk about more in a bit. He's so very cool. And really so is this whole JSA. And Scott's art is really good. I think these designs should be much more iconic than they are, in all honesty. I mean, Dr. Fate looks so damn cool, and it is a crime, an actual crime, that we never got a figure of this Earth 2 Dr. Fate with his gold and his glowing blue eyes, and like his suit is black and it looks like there's stars twinkling on all over his body. Like it looks like you're looking into deep space when you look into his chest. He's so cool. I also like how they call their superheroes wonders. Instead of calling them like supers or metahumans, they call them wonders. And that just flows off the tongue really nice. Wonders. I love it. I really like calling superheroes that. I never really do it unless I'm talking about this book because it confuses people. But yeah, I love the wonders. But you know, Superman's kicking ass. You know, he slices off Atom Smasher's effing arm, which is pretty awesome. And while I actually am a pretty decent fan of Atom Smasher, I really like the main continuity one with his work with the JSA and his kind of eventual partnership with Black Adam. And I thought he was fun in the Black Adam movie and reviewed that figure of him recently. This version of Atom Smasher is neat, but he's not my favorite design-wise. I think they could have given him a cooler outfit. But this evil Darkseid Superman looks amazing. I'd love a figure of him. And then you've got Red Tornado Lois Lane, which was such an interesting idea. And then Jimmy Olsen also got like this kind of cool technology powers. We did get figures of Hawkgirl. And we got figures of Thomas Wayne Batman, because of course we got figures of effing Batman. But we didn't get enough figures of these JSA members. I would have got the whole team if they would have made the whole team. But since they didn't make the whole team, I never really got any of them. But they're not even very expensive online. Huh. Oh well. But we see Amazonia, which is what they call Themyscira here, and they're a bit more Roman. They're more Roman cultured than they are Greek cultured. They're Roman in this universe, which is interesting. And their island has a lot of men on it because they're letting the world army use it to recuperate. And I love how in this rich people all get on a ship to leave Earth, and then Superman just fucking opens it like a can of tuna, and they trickle down just like they like to pretend economics does. Trickle right down to Earth. It even says that in the book. It says it's over and the 1% trickle down with this really haunting, just a haunting comic book panel. You have to see it. I'm not going to show it to you because I want you to read the book, but it's pretty rad. Extremely rad. We also get Atlantis and Jimmy Olsen all helping the World Army. Mr. Miracle, Mr. Terrific, and Sloan are all being mind controlled by Bedlam. So they have to make this machine because they want to recreate Apocalypse on Earth. Because apparently the current Apocalypse is dying. Also in the New 52, Darkseid, there wasn't a different Darkseid for each dimension. It was the same Darkseid invading different dimensions, I believe. Which could get confusing and very... It made things kind of confusing, especially when you think about Morrison's One True Darkseid, and I don't know, man. But we do get the return of Green Lantern, which is great because I love this take on Alan Scott Green Lantern. I love regular Alan Scott Green Lantern to death. But this one not only has a cool suit, but instead of the Starheart, he's Swamp Thing. Like, he uses the power of the green. But if he gets too high up in like the Earth's atmosphere when he's fighting and stuff, he starts to lose his power because it gets too far away from the Earth. So he can't go around doing all the space stuff like the Green Lantern Corps. But like, I almost wish this was the main continuity, Alan Scott. I might... If we had more of this Alan Scott and we could watch him do more, I think I'd prefer him over the regular one. And as much as I love that cool Golden Age outfit, and I do love it, unironically, this is such a cool updated version of Alan Scott. I honestly love it. And in the last volume, Dr. Fate went kind of crazy because the helmet is kind of messed up. So he's having these constant visions and he can't speak right. But we do start to see all the stuff he says that sounds like random babbling. So we start to see them kind of happen. And then let's get the val-zod, who we talked a lot about in the beginning. He's a Kryptonian, but he's also agoraphobic. You see, he was conscious and awake the whole time he was headed to Earth, right? And his family knew the Els very well, which is why they believed Jor-El when he said the planet was dying, so they sent their son away too. And he was growing up in his pod, and he was learning and all this stuff, but he spent his whole life in a capsule. So a big world is really scary to him. He's agoraphobic. But on top of that, he's also afraid of hurting anyone with his Kryptonian powers, which kind of makes him more agoraphobic because he doesn't want to go outside and absorb the light of the sun and hurt anyone. It's very interesting. It's like, it seems like in the last volume, it kind of seemed like the World Army was holding him prisoner, but they actually weren't. Or at least they claimed they weren't. Sloan was probably manipulating him. But, you know, Lois starts to help him come out of his shell a little. Because she, you know, has experience with Kryptonians. And he wears the House of El symbol on his chest, even though he's not a member of the House of El. And yeah, he's a Zod. But I think I read forever ago, it might have been Tom Taylor or it might have been someone else that worked on the book, said that he's not related to General Zod. It's just a Kryptonian last name. You know, like say your last name is Darnold, right? You're not really related directly to every Darnold in the world, you know? I mean, I made up that last name. It would have made more sense to use a real last name as an example, like Gregory. I'm just fucking with you guys at this point. But yeah, he's not related to General Zod. Also, I don't think it would even matter if he was related to General Zod, since we never see General Zod in this book. So it doesn't really matter one way or the other. People were just pissy because val-zod is black, and that's why they wanted to know, because they're racist. Anyway, continuing onward. We get a lot of fighting, parademons, Superman versus val-zod. And of course the Lois. It seems like the Red Tornado Lois is causing a weak spot for this Superman, who does have Clark's memories, but it's actually a very clever kind of, and this is a big spoiler, Bizarro. I remember I was reading this with someone who worked at a comic shop, and the Bizarro reveal really threw us both for a loop. And you can kind of see it. Like, you can see in his outfit the elements of Bizarro before he kind of starts to degrade into Bizarro. It's actually very, very interesting. And we do get the death of this world's Red Arrow. We get our Flash coming back from his torturing, which was very interesting as well. Thomas Wayne Batman's being a dickhole. And it was a mystery who this Batman was for a long time, but pretty much everyone guessed it was Thomas Wayne, because this isn't terribly long after the Flashpoint event, and this Batman was very similar to Thomas Wayne Batman, both in his methods. He does like the murder, and also his outfit is like the same color scheme. And, of course, toy solicitations spoiled that it was Thomas Wayne. So I don't think anyone was surprised when it turned out the second Earth 2 Batman was Thomas Wayne. There will be a third Earth 2 Batman as well down the line. You'll see who it is. I think you'll be content with his identity. We'll get to that. I have every single one of these. I have World's End and Society as well, and Convergence. Of course, I have Convergence. So, our Justice Society is flying around, fighting, refusing to call themselves the Justice Society. And then there's one issue that's really cool. Part 5 of the Kryptonian. I actually really love the cover art. It's like val-zod on debris from planet Earth, like starting to turn to look back at it while the fire pits are blazing all the way off the cover. It's a magnificent cover, and it's one that I need, like, on my wall. It's insane. And I love it, baby. Love it, love it, love it, because I love val-zod. Anyway, we get to see this evil Bizarro Superman interacting with the Kents. He does kill one of them. Read the book and find out who. But I mean, holy shit, a boom tomb opens up to kind of suck in the planet Earth, and then the new Superman, val-zod, kind of repairs the Helmet of Fate to give Dr. Fate his sanity back and stuff. And here's another very interesting thing about val-zod. He's a pacifist. He abhors violence in all of its forms. But he's the only person strong enough to fight off this Superman. And I think that says a lot about who val-zod is. He has more physical power than anyone on the planet, maybe even anyone in the universe, and he wouldn't even use it to shoo away a fly. Not even hurt a fly. You just wouldn't even shoot away. God, why didn't they give us a figure of val-zod, man? Come on, McFarlane. Make my dreams come true. Give me all these Earth 2 characters that I love so much, for the love of God. I need them. Oh, I need them. Anyway, we do get the confrontation with val-zod and Superman, which is excellent. It's not even really much of a fight, but it's super interesting. Holy shit. God, I love this Earth 2 world. And it kind of ends with the current JSA having Alan Scott, Green Lantern, Thomas Wayne Batman, Lois Lane Red Tornado. We also have Sandman, who's very interesting in this universe. He's like a Black Ops guy. The Flash, Jay Garrick, val-zod Superman, a very cool Hawkwoman, and Aquawoman, though she hates being called that. She's really cool, though. She's like Arthur Curry and Mara of Zebel combined into one character, and it's fucking rad. We didn't see enough of her in this book, if you ask me. But there was a lot going on, admittedly. Oh well. But then we do get reveals that, like, Fury, the daughter of Wonder Woman, and Big Barda, as well as Mr. Terrific and Terry Sloan, are still being used to, and mind-controlled to fight and whatnot. And then we get our Futures End story, which I wasn't, like, the biggest fan of. It's a big time skip forward for the DC Universe, and they did it for Earth 2 as well. They had these, like, lenticular cover arts where you turn them one way and you'd kind of see the present, and then you would turn them and you would see the future. I really liked those lenticular books. I've sold all mine. Some of them I wish I still had, but only like one or two. I was fine selling most of them. I do wish I still had my lenticulars for the Button, though. I sold them all because there was one I was missing and I couldn't get it for a good price, so I was like, well, fuck it. I needed the money and so I sold them. Miss them, though. I miss those Button lenticular covers. Fuck. But this one has, like, obviously it's not going to show the lenticular in the trade, but it just shows you both versions of the cover. It's just Red Tornado flying through the sky, and then you turn it and it's kind of her being turned into something else. But it's a story called Power to the People, where Mr. Terrific wants to use his T-spheres for everyone. He wants to make them publicly available, like for purchase. And it's apparently a time skip into the future where there are a lot of refugees from Earth 2, but there's been like this moral panic against them, you know, kind of like the one that is going on against like trans and other queer people right now, where it's just like these trumped up charges. It's clearly a very thinly veiled metaphor for like immigration and whatnot. But, you know, Terry Sloan invents goggles that'll show you what Earth someone is from. But also that means he can change the way the goggles work through a back door, so that if he wants someone to appear like they're from a certain Earth, so that they'll, you know, they'll be persecuted for it, then he can, which he does do to Mr. Terrific. And of course we do have some kind of cyberpunky horror with Red Tornado, but it's not touched on too much. It's like a little hint at stuff to come, but I just wasn't into it. I never read the full Futures End event. I never read the main event. I only read the tie-ins, and a lot of them made sense without the event, like the Batman one and stuff was just about him trying to ensure Gotham always had a Batman. You're like, you didn't even need to read Futures End, which I might accidentally call Future State at some point. Sorry if I do. Because I know when I reviewed Future State books, I've accidentally called them Future's End. It's not my fault DC isn't very clever with their naming conventions. All right? This story just... I don't know. It didn't feel important in any way. But it does have a variant cover gallery. I mentioned in my last graphic novel review that the Injustice books just had the variant covers at the end of each issue, and that I prefer when it's a gallery, because then I can look at all of them at once. You know? So you can see the Robot Chicken variant cover. You can see the Mad Magazine variant cover. There's a really cool one with the Spectre. That was a very interesting cover with like a Batman moon and this big eye like an eyeball. It's an insane cover. There's a cool Bombshells Hawk Girl cover. I suppose this was around the time the Bombshell stuff was happening, which I think was just a line of like little statue figurines that became a comic. No, I'm thinking of Amikame Girls. I read a couple issues of that. I just read... No, that's not true. I just read the Power Girl issue. Because I liked that design for Power Girl. I didn't read any of the Bombshell stuff. But I know it had some little DC Icons figures. You know, there's a variant cover with the two Batman and Flash and Green Lantern. But I still think the best cover is one of the main covers with val-zod looking back on the Earth. God, that's cool. But that is it for Earth 2 Volume 5. Volume 6 will be next. And hell, I might even actually get around to reviewing it soon. I don't know. I gotta remember, because you're supposed to be reading Earth 2 and Earth 2 World's End at the same time. World's End was the weekly series that was instituted, one, because of Batman Eternal's success. DC was like, oh, fuck, people liked Batman Eternal. That was a weekly book we could get a lot of money from. Let's try that with The Future's End of End and Earth 2 World's End. But it didn't really work out. So if you're reading the trades, the World's End title and the Earth 2 title are happening simultaneously, and you're supposed to be like reading regular Earth 2 issues between the, like, inserted within the issues of World's End. So you can't read the story 100% straight through correctly in trades. But I only ever read the first few issues of Earth 2 as single issues, and I've always read it as trades. So that's going to be a bit more interesting. And I only read a few of those Huntress Power Girl World's Finest issues too. So I did pick up a couple of the volumes recently, I think. I always get a ton of comics on like Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and then I read those throughout the year. It saves me a ton of money, even though it's me spending a lot at once. But you've listened to me ramble long enough. I think I do have to read... I think I have to read A World's End next, or it's Volume 6 and then Volume 1 of World's End. We'll just have to see. But that's it. We reviewed a lot of Marvel Hulk main continuity books and a lot of DC kind of Elseworld-y books. And I'm not sure what I want to do next. Maybe some symbiotes. You know, Carnage, Black, White, and Blood is kind of high on my list, but I also want to do some more main continuity Superman. And there's always some indie stuff. I really want to do Kamen Rider 01 and Kamen Rider Kuga, as well as more Dinosaur Sanctuary, among other Toku and Kaiju manga. But that's it. Thank you all very much for your support. Remember, rate, comment, and subscribe. Check out all the cool links in the description below, Facebook, Twitter, etc. I gotta go make an issue 2 in my porcelain Batcave. And I'll see you all next time. Bye for now.